right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a very special guest. I have my girl here, Lenny Bunny. What is up?
Hi, hello.
Yes. So I'm so excited to finally be doing a video with you. This has been a long time coming. A few of our subscribers actually had said, we should do collabs together. So I'm excited that we're finally doing that.
I know, long
So
overdue.
yes. So I've said this before, but I was super excited when it came across Lenny's channel because we're both Dominican. So it's always exciting to find, another Dominican YouTuber, but one that isn't retarded,
Oh my God.
never gonna bad out, right? So yeah, I was really excited to come across your channel. So I know that we have some shared subscribers, but for those that don't know who you are, do you want to just kind of give us a little intro about yourself? Like just who you are, where you're at, whatever you want to say.
Well, to be honest, I just started my YouTube channel a year ago. I'm still trying to figure it out for myself. For the most part, I just like to speak what's on my mind, and I like for people to engage and chat about whatever it is I have on my mind, whether it is race, whether it is a new foundation that I found, whether it's new clothes. I don't really have a target for my channel as of right now. I just want to be able to express myself and inspire people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a variety of stuff going on, basically, like a little mix.
It's a variety of things, but I feel like that's kind of like my downfall on my channel too, because people like, let's say somebody subscribes for race topics, and then I'll go ahead and post like 2 makeup videos, and they're like, this is not what I signed up for. So they might unsubscribe, and then vice versa. So I was thinking either I do 3 videos a week and mix it up so people come back people come back to my channel for what they signed up for.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna have to stick to one thing, because right now it's all over the place. But ultimately, I just want to be able to express myself and create a safe place for people to talk to each other respectfully about whatever it is that's on my mind. Ultimately, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, girl, that I think the literal same things all the time because you see my channel's kind of all over the place too. So actually, so you know how I started just doing makeup. So when I started
Yeah.
doing non-makeup videos, I started thinking crap, like the people that signed up for makeup, now they're seeing all this extra stuff. So I figured I was probably gonna want to unsubscribe. And then, after I did my Dominican ancestry video, I got a lot of subscribers. So I was like, oh crap, are they going to want to see Dominican stuff now? So I've always had that in the back of my mind too. Some subscribers may sign up for this, but then you post something totally unrelated. So are they going to be happy? So I too kind of feel that for sometimes to try and please everybody.
Right. I just feel like your channel, though, for the most part, like you do have a theme. Of course, you do have makeup, but for the most part, you talk about, I feel like right now you have a historian channel. You know what I mean? You talk about cultures, especially DR, and people definitely come back for that. And then you have those topics that are really risky to talk about, but people come for that, and you know how to break it down so well. Like I always tell you, you're so unbiased when it comes to how you feel and these topics in general. And you do it very respectfully, you do it truthfully, you can see it. So I feel like people subscribe to your channel and they know what they're going to get. So I wouldn't consider your channel being all over. I think it's perfectly organized in its own way, if that makes any sense. But I know what I signed up for, you know what I mean, when it comes to you. So I think your channel is doing very well. And like I told you in the chat, like you have a community going on now. So it's like people look forward to see what you're going to post next. So I think that's really cool. And it's very inspiring, to be honest.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm not that much further ahead of you, but yeah, I mean, I do think I got a little community going on. I know all of my that actively engage with my videos, which I really appreciate. And I mean, as far as the whole trying to be unbiased, girl, it can be a struggle sometimes because some people are just they can be very out of pocket. And sometimes I don't know exactly how to respond to those people. So I just kind of stay out of it. And sometimes I wonder, should I jump in more? But then, I recently had one of my subscribers say, no, what I'm doing is fine because if I do about myself, then somebody can take something I say against me, stuff like that. So kind of have to know your position, I guess, as the content creator,
You really do, though. You really have to think from all over the place. Gotta think outside the box. And you can't say one thing because I'm a friend in another group, whatever. I just think that you handle that very well, though. I be watching. I mean, I do engage in your videos, but I do watch your responses too. And I think sometimes you just can't respond because people will take things out of context no matter how you respond to it. So, and I've noticed that you do that too. You know what I mean? So I feel like you handle yourself very well.
Thank you. Yeah, you definitely have to be like selective with what and who you choose to respond to. Like some people will leave comments and I'll specifically only address like a part of the comment if I feel the other part is kind of like, they're being extra. But anyway.
Like they try to bait you into like saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You just can't give into it. You said what you said, and I mean that's the attitude I have sometimes, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Sometimes you do want to break things down because you don't want, sometimes no answer is an answer and you don't want people to take it the wrong way either.
True. Yeah. So I found your first video that I saw was the I'm Dominican period or something like that.
I'm Dominican period. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything in that video. So, I mean, since last year, we talked a lot on like, IG or whatever, or DM, and you experienced a lot of the same thing that I experienced, especially when it comes to the trolls. So you want to tell us a little bit of your experience with that and like being a Dominican YouTuber?
Brother. Okay, so as far as I know, first of all, let me just talk about why I even uploaded the video. I uploaded the video because it was around that time of year again. And people just wouldn't shut up about Dominicans. Like, we're racist, we're anti-black, we don't know our roots, da 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 da. And I'm like, one time for all, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and I'm gonna speak on this and I'm gonna tell people how I feel. And I will tell you, I was really nervous about uploading it. I reviewed the video like a million times and be like, maybe I shouldn't post it, maybe I should put this. But you know what? I did it once and for all. Now, apparently, acknowledging your roots means that you're Afrocentric and all this jazz. I'm like, I'm just aware of all the parts of the world that make me me. And if Africa happens to be one of them, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? But in the sense of being a Dominican YouTuber, I feel like I don't talk too much about being a Dominican YouTuber. I think people have the impression of me that I'm just a Dominican American and that I'm sick of the stereotypes and whatnot. And people just think of it as me being Afrocentric. Well, the trolls do anyway. But then for the most part, I feel like people can relate to what I have to say, or what I have said on those videos. But
and it's funny because we have a lot of the same trolls, like the same people.
Well, my opinion on that too is like I don't feel like they watch my videos because I just think they read the title and then they take what they read and they run with it. So they put their own narrative into, they spin it however they want. But I can't even take what they have to say for what it is. I can't take them serious. Like I feel like there's no logic in their argument because you're not watching my videos. I can tell. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just see Afro-Latina or they see I am 50% African. They immediately take it for whatever it is they want to spin on it. And I gotta. You block them and you move on, and then that's that.
Yeah, basically, I learned that real quick. Like, no, I'm gonna have to start blocking people because some people are just too extra, way too extra. So, with that being said, so what do you identify as for the most part? Do you just identify as mixed, or like how do you self-identify?
I just tell people I'm Dominican, and I let it speak for itself. Like you look at me and I am what you see. I feel like I really shouldn't have to say it. Like if you think I'm mixed, then you think I'm mixed. If you want to take it to the next level, like on a job application or something like that, I probably would put black or I probably would put other because at the end of the day, Caucasian people out here, they don't see us as white. They don't see us as other. They see a brown skinned girl. You know what I mean? And when I walk into that job interview, they're gonna see a brown skinned girl with full lips and 3C hair. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get technical about it. Yeah, I guess I'm mixed, but I'm not no Meghan Markle either. You know what I'm saying? There's levels, and I'm just not an Alicia Keys or a Meghan Markle. You know what I'm saying? But people ask, I literally just tell them I'm from here. Like, that's like my go-to response, because I need to understand, what are you asking me? Are you asking me like what city am I from? Are you asking me where my parents are from? Are you asking me where I was born? You want to know where I was born? I was born here. Then they want to know, look, I know you were from here, but where are you from? I'm Dominican. End of story. They know what it's like. There's a whole bunch of us up here. Like, we're loved. I'm gonna tell you, we're loved by almost everybody. Like, Dominicans up here, like that whole YouTube Latino versus blacks, that whole online narrative thing is not a thing up here in real life. For the most part, we all get along. I'm very proud to be Dominican, but out here, there isn't, like, there's so many of us that it isn't anything exotic. People just vibe with us and that's it.
Nice. See, that's like the opposite of my experience. Not that we don't get along with people, but because there's not a lot of us here. So some people do kind of look at you like, oh, like you're something, I don't know, exotic, I guess.
I mean, like, for where I'm from, I grew up in a very diverse area. So, like, you name it and we have it. You know what I mean? Now, if I step outside to, like, the neighborhoods where not neighborhoods, but, like, the cities that's predominantly white, that's a whole nother story. I don't think they know that I'm Latina. I don't think they have, like, the range to know what we are. They just see a brown person, which is why I say what I say. Like, at the end of the day, if you want me to identify as race, that's why sometimes I can see why people will say I'm a black girl, because that's my experience here. At the same time, you know what I mean? When I'm in my area, of course, Latinos are everywhere, so we just know we identify each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when it comes to, like, Caucasian people who go to school with Caucasians or go to work with Caucasians, all they see is a brown-skinned woman. They don't know the difference between someone who's African American and then, I mean, I'm sure they do. Maybe I don't even know, to be honest. Sometimes I just know they stare at me. I don't know if they stare because I'm hot, or they stare because it's the first time they see a brown person in their face and not on TV. Like, it's weird though. It's uncomfortable.
No, I just sometimes wonder when it comes to white people, well, specifically white Americans, like, do they make those distinctions? Do they really just see us all as exactly the same? Because, I mean, they're not colorblind. I'm sure they can see different shades. And I don't know, I just wonder, I don't know. I do wonder, though, how
I do wonder, too. And then, when you do tell them where you're from, if you ever gets to that point of conversation, they'd be like, oh, I love the Dominican Republic. And then they talk about their travel destinations and the last time they went to a resort. So they know of us. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, of course, but I don't think that at face value, I'm not sure if they know the difference. Because, some Dominicans may look like African Americans and other things, you know what I mean? Like, we have very similar features. I'm not saying that we're identical either, but especially the ones that are more on the mixed side, right? So growing up, people used to confuse me for half black, half white all the time. Like, legit, like, they thought that my parents, like, one of my parents were black and the other one was white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mulatto, like some may say. I know that's like a racial slur to some people, so I'm not sure if I can use it. But I grew up people thinking that, so that's why I don't know if they know the difference.
Yeah, that's true. And so, well, when it comes to like black people, what is your experience with them? Because people online, they like to say that they want to put us all into a box, which I've seen some do that online, but in my personal experience, that wasn't my experience. Like, they just saw me as Dominican. Well, I mean, maybe I guess some is black too, but like dark. But I never had that whole experience of you're black, you're black, you're black. So as far as what white people thought of me, I don't know, they probably just thought I was black. But as far as like my experience with black people, they did recognize me for being Dominican. So did you have a similar experience?
These days, yes. These days, black people, particular black men, know that I'm Dominican off the bat. They'd be like, you and your Dominican ass, or your crazy Dominican. Like they have to mention it. Like it's not. There's never a moment where they don't say the Dominican word. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But there has been Black men that think I am mixed with something else, or just mixed Black with something else. Or there has been times where they just think I'm African American like them.
Okay.
When they first see me, then I speak, and it's a whole different story, because you can hear an accent when I talk and whatnot.
Okay.
Now with Black women, I think it's the same way, but based on my experience, it can go half and half. It can go both ways. Like we'll click, and then we click because we have things that we can relate to. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then there's times where it's just like I've had people that I feel like their vibe changes when they find out I am Dominican. You know, I've had that happen too, and I've had people, Black women, be uncomfortable when someone acknowledges that I'm Dominican. I've seen it, like the vibe change, and I don't know if it goes back to like colorism, or the fact that the fetish, or what I don't know what it goes back to, or it's just like, are you hyping her up because she's Dominican kind of thing? But it's not. It really goes half and half. To be honest, like I feel like my lighter skinned friends may not have the same experience as me. I feel like I have a more positive experience. But out here is very tricky out here, and not just that, but I feel like, and I think I told you before, women are just very cliquey already. That's just how we are. And then you bring ethnicity and you bring race in the mix. So it's just like I'd rather hang out with people that relate to my struggles and whatnot. I feel like now more than ever. You know what I mean? Dominicans sit with Dominicans sometimes, and then African Americans sit with African American or dark skinned women sometimes, because they, it's all about who you can relate to and who you can relate with. You know what I mean? And my experience has been half and half, but that's just really how it's been, really.
Yeah.
But as far as like that whole me feeling like it's like we don't get along, I don't think any of that. I think women, when it comes to women, we can just be very catty naturally until one of us actually has to engage with another. And then guys, like I said, out here, like men just like Dominican girls. Like men out here love Dominican girls and Cape Verdean girls.
Oh.
Like they actually compare us a lot. It's kind of weird.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know any Cape Verdean people.
Yeah, Cape Verde is more like out here, like in the Boston area. They love them Dominicans, and I mean, especially fellow Dominicans. Like Dominicans do love the Dominican girls, so.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't know. So how's that dynamic though, just among Latinos though? Because like here, I've said a bunch of times, here is mainly Central and South Americans, and they can be very cliquish too. Well, not all of them, but some of them. So, the darker skin Latina, I didn't always make friends with a lot of them. So, I mean, is it like that up there? Or do you guys have a lot of like
pretty clicky up here too? Like you'll see Guatemalans and El Salvadorians hanging out together. And then you'll see like Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and Blacks hanging out together. Like I feel like it's up here, it's like more like urban crowd versus like foreign crowd. But then like you'll see like you know what I mean? Like, how can I explain it? You'll see Dominicans who are born and raised here hanging out with fellow African Americans, or Haitians that were also born and raised here and whatnot. And then you'll see, like, for the most part, the Central Americans that I see are usually immigrants that come from their mother. And they hang out amongst each other. But they do click though. Like you'll see them in the club all hanging out too. You know what I mean? So it's not like, I think again, it all goes back to who you can relate to and who shares whatever it is that you're looking to find. And I don't know, friendship, I guess. But for the most part, I guess I could get pretty cliquey. But growing up, I actually grew up with Asians. My friends were all
Oh,
Asian, so
really?
I can't even tell you that like a Central American ever tried to like not be friends with me. But there was this girl. She used to lie that she was half Puerto Rican, but she was just El Salvadorian, and she was very nice. But yeah, back then like that was the thing. If you had to lie about being half Puerto Rican or being half Dominican,
Really?
like if you were like, because my where I live, like I said, is very diverse, but it's very it's a lot of people of color, if anything. So if you were out here, if you were white, it was never good enough. You had to be half white and half Puerto Rican. And if you were
Really?
African American, you had to be half Puerto Rican. It was weird. This is back in the day though. I don't think that happens anymore. I hope it doesn't happen anymore. That's weird.
So interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Nobody wanted to just be white, huh?
Nobody wanted to be. I mean, that was like back in high school though. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, back when they used to like glue their hair to their forehead and be like, I'm half Puerto Rican. Yeah, that was a thing. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening now. Think about it.
With the
On
girls mixed fishing and stuff.
yeah, with the brown fishing and like the lip
Yeah.
fillers and like
Uh-huh.
all like the
Uh-huh.
towards the bigs trying to look exotic. I mean,
Yeah. I feel like the mixed look is like in right now. Whether you're on the lighter end or the darker end, a lot of people are trying to look somewhere in the middle because I guess that's what's I don't know, that's just the desired look right now, I guess.
I try to tell my man that, and my man is white, and
Mm.
he just wasn't. He just doesn't get it. I was trying to tell him like, bro, brown fishing is a thing, and it makes me feel some type of way because I'm gonna tell you, when I was in 5th grade, there was this girl in my class, and she looked just like Britney Spears. Okay, I was jealous. Britney Spears was at the top of her game. Everybody wanted to be her, but there's no way my brown is gonna be Britney Spears now, right? It was just never gonna happen. But that was that's like the look at the time. You know what I mean? So all the white girls were like, oh, I'm Britney Spears, I'm Christina Aguilera, blah blah. But today, the fact that they can sit there and just take it all off and then throw on a foundation that's like 5 times darker, and then they can pass us. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make me feel away. It's just like, dang, no matter what you do, you're always gonna be like the beauty of standard, I guess. The standard of beauty, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, it's quite interesting though how things change because for so long or like historically, that the whiteness was the standard of beauty, but again, it's kind of shifting. Maybe it just has to do with the fact the world too is becoming more cross-cultural, more and more people are mixing. So I don't know. It's
I
quite,
don't. I mean, that makes sense too, but no one wants to be a plain Jane anymore. That's for sure.
oh
So
yeah,
they
nah.
alter their looks to look like us, and then it's just like, oh, once again, y'all winning, cool, you
Hmm.
know. And it's
Yeah.
like, I guess I'm a little tainted. When I used to do bottle service, then they wouldn't schedule me. That kind of like irritated me. But they would schedule people that would look like Latinas, but weren't Latinas.
Oh. Okay, yeah, because I remember you did a video about your experience being a bottle service girl in the Boston area, but I remember seeing comments that were saying, "Oh, if you were out in what was it like Atlanta or something, you'd have been fine." But I guess up where you were, there was a little bit of I don't know what you call it, like colorism that you were experiencing.
It's just out here, like when you go to the downtown Boston area, which is like where the people with money go to club, the EDM music is playing and whatnot. But that whole area, it's just like if you're not blonde with blue eyes or brunette, I suppose, with like fair skin, they just didn't give me any shifts. And that's just me, like fellow brown skin women. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that was like my wake up call. You know how sometimes you have
Mhm.
wake up calls? Like I'm a pretty girl, so for the most part, I feel like I've gotten through a lot through pretty privilege. But I had one of the girls try to tell me like, you're pretty, but it don't matter. Like at the end of the day, you're black, and they're not gonna schedule you. And I took what she said. I believed her, but I still wanted to make my experience out of it. And what she said would happen is exactly what happened.
Wow. So why even hire people if they're not gonna give you no shifts?
I don't know if they hired me to save face. I don't know if they hired me because it was around Christmas time, so maybe they needed people for New Year's Eve too.
Okay.
Um, but they would come at shifts, send me home early, and what the shifts I'm referring to would be the ones because there was like three different clubs owned by the same people, and they will always schedule me to work to the place that no one went to. So like
Okay.
there was no way I was gonna make money in there because I had a solo table and no one was gonna pop out as an empty club. So I
Mm-hmm.
show up there with my makeup, with my bodysuit, stand there next to my table like a dweeb, and then it'd be like, "Oh, your table's not here. Okay, I guess I get to go home now and take my train back home." Yeah, it was not a good experience. And then a lot of people have said like, "Why don't you just do bottle service in the Latin club and whatnot?" But the thing is that those clubs they like the voluptuous women. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? With this very small waist and like the thick thighs and the
Like
big booty.
women.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that either. You know what I mean? So I thought being a slim girl, I can maneuver my way through Boston. You know what I mean? But I guess that wasn't the case because my skin wasn't fair. And I know I have the receipts. Like I've seen these things happen. I've seen certain women get treated in a certain way, and then other women get treated in a certain way. They're like on pedestals. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people telling me it's all in my head and whatnot. It wasn't in my head. I know exactly. I've seen it in my face. And I
Mm-hmm.
went in there with a mind like the girl told me what it was, and I still chose to be like, I'm gonna create my own experience. Because for all I know, maybe she has a better experience because of her attitude. You know what I mean? She had this like very negative attitude too. You know what I mean? And I met another girl who was very peppy, very nice, very sweet, very outgoing, also dark skinned girl. And it's the same experience with her too. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would hire new people with blonde hair and they would get scheduled on the good nights to work the nights to work popping. So how come y'all aren't scheduling me to work those nights? With just as
Mm-hmm.
new. I was hired first, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was just a lot of things weren't adding up and eventually I just stopped hearing from the girl who did the schedule and I was just like, whatever, I don't need that in my life anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boston
Okay.
nightlife is a little different up here. Like if you go to
Okay.
Lawrence, that's one thing. If you go to other like Revere, North Shore, that's another thing. But like the Boston night, like that area where like the Boston Commons and whatnot is not. You go there and it's the same type of women that are working in those clubs.
Okay. All
So
right.
you would
Hmm.
think some people are under the impression that Boston is like a whites only city. When people hear Boston, they think of like whites, but it's because that's how the actual city can be. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whenever I go to New York, people are shocked that I'm from Massachusetts. It's crazy. That's how
Really?
bad it is. It's like they're like, you're Dominican, you're from Massachusetts. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I had no idea they had colored people or Dominicans up there. I'm like, well, there's plenty of us.
Aren't there a lot? I mean, there's a lot of Dominicans in Boston, though, right?
Exactly.
So
But
I've
people
always
like
heard
when
the
people
Dominicans are on up there.
I don't know. It's just like when tourists go, they go to downtown Boston and all they see is a bunch of white people. So
Okay. Okay, so then the Latin people or the people of color, they're not so much in the downtown area, basically, of
they
Boston.
go more to. I feel like the Latin people or urban people just like to go to Lawrence, like Methuen, that area. Lawrence is like a little it's like a little Dykeman. Like if you ever been to Dykeman, New York,
Oh, okay.
it's
Hmm.
like that. Yeah, so people like to go
Okay.
there. Yeah, and they have all the hookah out there, and like I think they're one of the only places in Massachusetts that it's actually legal to have hookah. They banned it everywhere else. Yeah.
Okay. See, sometimes I feel like I kind of missed out because I didn't grow up north, because I don't know, people like to talk a lot of crap sometimes about the Latinos up north, but I don't know, I feel like I missed out, like, even though it's cold as shit, but still, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it's really cold up here. It's like sucks.
just being in that environment, I'm like, hey, yo, I missed that,
I think people have
like,
an time up here. I think people I see the things that people say on the internet about the people up north. I don't buy it. I don't know. Mm-mm. I've never come across anybody like I think for the most part, we good out here. We all get along. It's not
Mhm.
a war. Like when I look onto YouTube and I see these like weird wars going on between like black versus Latinos, I'm like, what is going on? Like maybe. I mean, I don't know, but that maybe that's a reality in real life too. I can't relate though.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, and I never try to like act like I'm trying to invalidate anyone's experience. But
Yeah, I
again,
don't
when I
do
look
that.
at real life, I'm like, I don't see what y'all are seeing, you know?
I can't relate.
Yeah, yeah. So, kind of switching gears. So, have you recently been to DR?
I went to CR 2018, so 2 years ago, last summer for a week.
Oh, okay. So how was your experience down there? Because people, I mean, people like to ask me about, my experience and like what I witnessed being down there. People like to ask about like, the whole thing with Haitian. Um, anyways, not that you mean you have to get into that if you don't want. But like what is your experience when you're down there?
First
Like
of all,
would you
I'm sorry, I didn't get that last part. The video cut off a little bit.
Like, what do you do when you're there? Or, like, what do you see? Or how do you see people interacting?
People interact just like normal, like, and it don't matter like what color skin they are, if they're Haitian or not. Plenty of Haitians that live in our neighborhood in DR, and it's just like regular. I don't know. I don't see the what people discuss on YouTube about Haitians versus Dominicans. I didn't see that out there. I just saw a bunch of carefree people who like to drink, party, dance, and just go to work the next day. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? That's what I saw. But when I was out there, I did a lot of sunbathing. We went to beaches. I didn't go to any rivers though. That's the only thing. But I
I
just
bet.
saw a bunch of carefree people. Like I don't. Then again, I only went to. My mom is from Mao. I don't know if you ever heard of Mao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom is from out there, so that's where we stayed for the most part. We didn't go to Santiago, but then we did go to Puerto Plata to go to the beaches, and it's the same thing. I just saw a bunch of people having a good time. I didn't see. I don't. I guess I can't. I mean, I don't. Whatever it is that people talk about on YouTube. To be honest with you, I don't keep up with the current events of DR. To be honest with you, so I don't really know what I'm looking for. But I didn't see any colorism down when I was down there, and I didn't see anybody not getting along. I don't know. And they're cool with Haitians, so
See, and that's what kind of like confuses me sometimes because what you're saying, that has always been my experience. Like anytime that I've gone to DR, that is what I saw. I just saw a bunch of people that like to drink and party and dance and go to work the next day. Like you said, that has always been my impression of Dominican. Even the ones that are here, like my family, when they come here, they just continue doing the same thing. They work a lot, but on the weekends they just drink and hang out. You know. Now the only thing though that I haven't really experienced is watching Dominicans and Haitians interact. For some reason, I just barely ever come across Haitians when I'm down there. So when people talk about it and they say, "Oh, that Dominicans treat Haitians so badly," or whatever, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've never witnessed it myself, so I don't know." But then, like you said, after people say that they get along fine in certain areas, so sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to believe. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. I guess there's some having a good experience. I guess some are not.
I guess it's just their experience. But there is one thing that I saw that really really bothered me, and I saw it way too much. Is how often older men date younger girls. Yeah, that was very uncomfortable for me to watch. I'm talking about like 30-year-olds probably dating. I mean, they look really young, like 16, 17, like underage. That's the only thing that I saw that was that's a little uncomfortable. Well, it was very uncomfortable actually, to be honest. And my mom was trying to explain to me that sometimes like moms put their daughters out there to do certain things, and we actually had a huge argument about it because I just that whole like minor thing that really triggers me. You know, But that's the only thing I saw out there that I couldn't even stand looking at it. Like, I would like grill the man. Like, I would not stop looking at him. Like, what the hell are you doing talking to that girl? Like, why are you coupled up with that little girl kind of thing? That's the only thing that made me feel uncomfortable. Other than that, I've seen everybody interact with each other. Like, no worries.
Yeah, I've seen the age gap thing too with some
But I
older
feel like
guys with
that
some.
happens everywhere but the US. Because I also hear stories about like how American men go to the Philippines sometimes. I've heard those kind of stories too, but that's the only thing that I saw in DR out there that made me feel uncomfortable. But other than that, like, I had a blast. I cried because I haven't been up there since 2003. So to see everything exactly how I left it was crazy. I'm arachnophobic, so like it's
You're
like really
what?
bad. I'm like, I fear spiders. Like, it's like really
Oh,
bad.
oh, oh,
And the last time I was there, I saw one the size of my hand.
girl, that'd
I
be
was
crucial out there.
I was never the same. I I
The insects over there are huge.
oh my
Oh my
god. Oh my god. Like
god,
everything.
the cockroaches, the flying
Oh my god.
cockroaches,
Like
they're like the
cockroaches.
moths even. They're like huge, like this big. Everything's just giant over there.
Yeah,
Everything is just
I saw that and I was just like, I can't go back there. And my grandma's like, come back, come back. We fixed up the backyard. The backyard's not dirt no more. It's cement. They don't come out no more. I'm like,
they'll
I'm
come out of
good.
nowhere. Dang, in our house over there, we got a lot of like geckos inside the house too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got used to
but
those.
yeah. So you brought up like how you didn't see like colorism or whatever. So that's another thing because, and I feel like it's mainly outsiders that say this, but you know they like to bring up a lot, you know, racism among Dominicans and I guess the whiter ones treating the darker ones bad or being
Yeah,
racist
I
towards
don't
them.
understand that. Like, what exactly do they like? They see this happen.
Sure. No, you know, I don't like I said it many times on my channel, I don't deny that racism and or colorism exists. I mean, DR is like any other country in which these things can happen, but I just never grew up seeing that. So I don't know if people are thinking other things and trying to apply it to DR. But then again, I mean, online I have seen some comments from Dominicans actually saying, "Oh, I was treated such and such a way because I was dark," you know, or people would come this and come that. And whenever I see those comments, I just find it so like interesting because I do not see that. You know, I didn't see the lighter ones treating the darker ones any type of way. And so when I say that, it's like I don't want people to think that I'm trying to like gloss over stuff or like I'm trying to act like stuff that isn't happening or like it's but
The rug.
I,
Like, it's not.
from my experience, I just never saw that.
I I mean, I just think that colorism is universal. Really, we see it with beauty standards, and
Yeah.
I think if that's what they're referring to, then I totally understand that. But from my experience, when I went to DR, I didn't see no negritos being treated any different than blanquitos. It's all one big happy family. I mean, maybe I didn't see it. I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, like you said. I'm not trying to dismiss it or dismiss anybody's
Mm-hmm.
experience. But
Yeah.
I just think that naturally, straight hair. I mean, I don't know these days, but I would see the women out there with their hair blow dried. You know what I mean? Because if it's not blow dried, then if at home, that's like
Yeah.
where my mom is from. Though I don't know how other places are out there, but people always go under their dryer and get their hair straightened. That for sure. But again, that's like beauty standards. I don't. I
Yeah.
feel like that's universal. So they can't be like DR. I feel like it's like that everywhere. It's out there. It's like that over here.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever's saying the public, they do it amongst each other. You know what I mean? So it's just like, why are you trying to create this negative narrative for DR? Like, it's not like that all over the world. You know what I mean? I've had my Asian friends told me that growing up, remember how I said like I grew up with Asians or whatever as friends. And if you are like a Cambodian, if you're a dark skinned Cambodian, that's ugly to them. The better you are, the better you look. And I don't think they are anything like that. I mean, I know that back in the day, and I'm talking about like way back in the day, like people will say comments like, "Oh, make sure that you get with like my grandma sometimes is like this. She can be like that sometimes." My father is dark skin. I don't know if you've seen pictures of my father. My dark skin. My father is Filipino. And when my mom brought him home, my grandma was very disappointed. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that it's not a thing. It's definitely a thing. But today, I just don't see it. I mean, at least I haven't seen it. But I just don't know. I can't see. I didn't see any of that out there. And I'm not trying to play safe or whatever. I think I'm pretty real. I think I'm pretty upfront, and I say that, you know what I mean. But back in the day, of course, back in the day, it was always like, oh, make sure that you bring home blanquito, and I don't date the dude I date because he's blanquito, by the way, because my type, honestly, is like I have a thing for biracial dudes, and I like black men too, you know what I mean? So that don't matter, you know what I mean? I'm dating the guy I like because we vibe. That's besides the point, you know what I mean? But I didn't see anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's more it's not so much that we display that colorism or racism towards each other. It's more about internal ideals and what we personally want to achieve, like you said, with the beauty standards. And that is what I can notice, especially with the women, with the constant straightening of hair. And women, I mean, Dominican women just started really embracing wearing their pearls like within the past decade, you know? So, I mean, even with that though, I have noticed a shift though. I have noticed that the darker Dominicans, some of the more African features, they are starting to embrace a lot more. And I mean, I think a lot of Dominicans in general are moving away from some of those, old racist or colorist type of ideologies, and they are really fully embracing everything that we are, because we always say it, oh yeah, we embrace everything, but do we really? But I think the younger generations, I think more Dominicans now are really starting to actually embrace everything, including the African.
They're super woke. They're like, they're woke.
Yeah, that's what I always say. We're getting more woke, or Latinos in general. I feel like
we're all getting very woke. Even my grandma.
Really?
My grandma don't say stuff like that no more. Yeah. Those are stories that my mom used to tell me. You know what I mean? Like I barely hear my grandma talk like that then, and I don't hear her talk like that now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My family, I never heard them talk about color, but they would talk about hair texture. That is one thing.
Definitely.
They do.
She did is something that and I feel like it all goes hand in hand in a way. I just think the whole thing is. I've talked to somebody at work one time, also Dominican. I would consider her I guess I would consider her mulata. She mulata. And I guess her son, which I would consider more on the mestizo side, because I feel like they're more indigenous and white. Her son, and I guess he liked a Dominican girl with super curly hair, and she was like, don't bring her home. So I mean, I guess it still happens with texturism, but it's just but our curls are so beautiful. I mean, this isn't my curls, I have a ponytail in, but my curls are gorgeous. You know what I mean? Our curls are gorgeous. It's also pretty. Like we're just so pretty, and we're just so diverse, and we're just all over the place. Why not embrace it in every color and every kink we come in? I just don't get it.
Yeah, girl, I feel you. That's how I feel too. But people, they're just too pressed on trying to be something that they're not. And I'm like, at this day and age, why? Like, why? I don't understand. Like, if you're dark, you have kinky, curly hair, like embrace it. If you're white, don't try to look mixed.
see why, like, I don't know, everybody's trying to do something that they're not. I don't know.
Like, and I had a conversation with her, and I told her, I'm like, what is it about? Like, why don't you like that? Like, what is it about that texture that you just don't like, or what is it about certain things that you just like? And I forgot what her response was, but whatever it was, I just wasn't impressed. And I just it makes me think, like, what is it exactly that it's ingrained in some of our brains that says that having a narrow nose is attractive, and having straight hair is attractive? Like what is it? You know what I mean? Like, deep.
I think it just stems from colonization, and it just hasn't gone away yet. I mean, that's
But
what
like,
I
we're
think.
living, and we're living like in 2020 now, so it's just like, why do people still, like, I just don't understand. One second people want to be mixed, but they don't want. I guess what it comes down to, and I think you said it in one of your videos, is they don't want to look too African, and no one wants to look too Caucasian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it's just like, and I also want to know what it is about certain people that go out of their way to straighten their hair all the time. Like, what is it about straight hair that you just like it so much? Like is it self-hate? I just
I don't know. It depends. I don't think there's just one answer for that. I mean, I think for some people it is. Like, they don't want to embrace the curls. They don't like it because they've grown up believing that straight hair is the hair to have. That is the ideal when it comes to beautiful hair. But I mean, it could be others. They just find it more easy to manage.
I switch it up because I like to do different things. You know what I mean? One second I want to have straight hair, next second sometimes my curly hair is just annoying, and I just want to be able to brush through it. You know what I mean? So I'll blow dry.
I feel you. You know, that's part of why I straighten my hair sometimes, or why, like, I started wearing some wigs, which I don't know if you experience this, but I feel like wearing wigs is so taboo. I'm a Dominican. Have you ever noticed that? It's like you're not rocking your hair. Like, I've always felt like wearing wigs or like any type of fake hair was like taboo with Dominican women.
Oh, definitely. Don't get me started with the box braids.
Oh Lord. I remember when I did my faux locks, I did like goddess locks. My mom was kind of looking at me like, why are you looking like a Jamaican woman? Like, she didn't really like it. But it's like anytime like I've worn a wig, people, like my Dominican like family members, always like, why are you wearing a wig? Like, they just act so weird about it. I'm like, you don't want to. Okay? I didn't feel like doing my natural hair. Okay, I want to wear a wig. Like, can I live? I don't know.
Here, girl. Same here. I was protecting my hair for a minute because I was trying to get my natural hair back. Every time I say that, I end up blow drying it again because it's just like so much maintenance to deal with all that hair, and it's just like you gotta make it healthy and so and so. But I was like braiding it and then throwing on a wig over it for like a whole year. Which, by the way, my hair grew so much because of that. But whatever. And I would have like, but they wouldn't ask me directly. I would have my friend's friends ask her like, why is she wearing a wig? Well, because she cut her hair really short. Well, what's considered short? And I cut my hair like around here.
Oh, so you're not like super short.
Not super short, but they were like, that's not short though, that's long. And I'm like, well, she was like, well, it's short to her because in comparison, yeah, her hair was longer than that, so yeah, it's considered short. What I was doing was I was just braiding it though, trying to stay away from heat, and it worked. It worked for me. I kept it very simple. I kept it black for the most part. I tried to do honey one time, and it was cute, but I just like my black hair too much. I went back to black recently. I don't know if you noticed, but
yeah, I did.
That was a lot of heat. That was a lot of damage. I did a number on my hair, but yeah, I feel like certain hairstyles is taboo to Dominican women, but I just don't understand. Again, it's just like it goes back to my YouTube videos that I posted in the past. It's like, where do we stand? You know what I mean? If we are of African descent, then why can't we, like, why is wearing a wig taboo? Why is me wearing box braids taboo? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, I guess it all depends on who you ask, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You're right about that. I mean, I guess maybe just a lot of us aren't used to seeing ourselves as being African in that sense, or African descent, because we've been so used to seeing or kind of focusing more on the Spanish side of ourselves, you know, because I mean, sometimes even like I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes when I do wear like hoodies or whatever, like I wonder like are people gonna think that I'm like reading or something? But I'm like, wait a second, I'm like literally half African descent. Like, can somebody really say that to me? You know? But, yeah. It's even I don't know. I consider myself to be someone like I don't know. I don't like calling myself woke, but whatever. You know, I'm aware of things, you know. But still, it's like I find myself still being a little colonized in my mind at times, you know, and I have to like shake myself out of it. Like, no, you can wear your braids, you can wear your curls, you can do your full locks, okay, if you want. You know, you're not appropriating anything. So, yeah.
How do you feel about whites having those kind of hairstyles, like cornrows and box braids? Do you feel like they're culture appropriating? Like, do you think that's?
Um,
I have arguments about that all the time, and I try to like.
really, I see videos on it a lot, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know because like growing up, I remember I would sometimes see like, you know, the white girls rocking braids or the cornrows, or they'd just do it like halfway and then have the back out, you know. Um, I don't know. I never thought too much of it because I mean they also happen to be the ones that a lot of times hung out with a lot of like black people and like Latinos and stuff. So at that time I didn't think anything of it, but in the climate of today, I definitely feel like it's a bit more of an issue and everybody's like looking out for cultural vultures and who's appropriating what. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess I can understand why some like black people feel like it is cultural appropriation, and I know a lot of them are like, damn, we can't have nothing to ourselves. But then the other part of me is like, it's just a hairstyle. I don't know.
I
Because I
just
mean, in the day, braids were like a very important part of African culture,
yeah
even. And so I
yeah.
see that side. How do you feel?
I It irritates me. It
Mm,
does. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that because I know for a fact that if I was to walk in with cornrows, it would be like, okay, what are you doing? Like in my workplace, like they'll be like, I like your hair, but it's just, they just, it will be like mixed reviews. But I know for a fact if it was a Caucasian girl who did it, it'd be like, oh my god, where did you get your hair done? And all of that. And it's just like again, why is it that when they do certain things, it's applaud, but then when we do certain things, and that's part of our actual culture, is questionable.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it just, I just hate how people can morph themselves into whatever they want when depending on what's in style. You know what I mean? It's like a trend to them. Like,
yeah.
I
No,
go
yeah,
back to me.
right
I
about
can
that.
see Becky, and then I can see Maria. Or it's just like I just can't take all this brown fishing, you know. And then I
Yeah.
actually saw a really, really good point the other day, actually, now that we mention it. It was this girl on TikTok, and she was just saying how, basically what she was trying to say is that, all right, like what like you said, braids go back to African culture, and that's how they used to identify each other's tribe and whatnot. So,
Mhm.
yes, whenever white people wear braids, yes, they are appropriating their culture. Because a lot of times white people say, well, you guys feel like we're appropriating your culture by wearing braids. So y'all are here in blonde wigs, blonde straight wigs.
Yeah, I see that
So I see that
argument.
a lot. But the girls are, yeah, it's a stupid argument. The girl was like, well, you know what? At the end of the day, straight hair isn't culture appropriating, it's genetics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not
Right.
hairstyle. It's literally genetics. So someone made a good point. Was like, well, what if a white girl wore an afro wig? Would that
Mm.
be considered culture appropriation? Because at the end of the day, that kind of hairstyle is genetics too.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting. Either way, I no, absolutely not. Like, why? No. You know, I don't want to see that either. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see that either. But it's just this is getting like trickier and trickier, and I don't get why. Just don't do it. I just don't get why people have to be a part of everything. You know what I mean? The goal is for you. You know what I mean? You Google the word America and you see Caucasian people everywhere. You see Google American family and you see Caucasian families. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole world's for you. Turn on TV, watch a TV show, and the majority of the cast is all white, and they'll have that one token Latino. And they're one token. You know what I mean? Or they have that one token black person and they're mixed. You know what I mean? Even with that, like, it's still part of you in those people that get casted. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, why do you need to be a part of everything? Like, why do you need to grab everything and be a part of it? I just don't get that. I think that's why it bothers me. Like, we barely see enough of each other on TV. I can barely turn on the TV these days and see a commercial where I feel like someone looks like me. And now y'all want to just grab everything that wasn't meant for you and make it yours too. I think that's why it bothers me. I mean, we're doing better, right? We are doing better. I see more inclusion. You know, I do see more inclusive TV shows and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's just like, it's not the same. It's just, I feel like TV, you see them everywhere. You don't see enough of us. And don't get me started on like Afro-Latinas not being in novelas and whatnot. You know, like, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. But then with that, I mean, with the whole novela thing, I'm like, well, I mean, I can also keep in mind most of us are watching Mexican novelas, so I guess we couldn't really have expected a lot of Black people. But as far as like all these other networks and stuff, I mean, yeah, there was like whenever there was a Black person, they were always like the help, you know, some type of like low class person, you know, it was quite whatever.
Yeah, his name, pero he was in Maria del Barrio, and he was I think the boyfriend of Nandito. He was like the boyfriend of Nandito's mom. But he's like that. I think he's Mexican, but he's very dark skinned, and he always plays the help. As far as I've seen,
An older guy. I think I need to talk about because he's the only person that comes to mind because I've seen him in multiple novelas. This older, very dark-skinned man. You might be thinking about the
same person. I've seen that, and he's like struggling to be friends, and it's always that same dude. It's just
yeah. And then, or like the indigenous looking people, they're always like in the back, you know, when the white people lived in the mansion, like,
right?
We didn't even know it as kids. I mean, we shouldn't have even watched novelas. I don't know why I was watching novelas in elementary school.
Same.
I did.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. But okay, so we're almost an hour, but so I wanted to ask the last question because we kind of mentioned the other day the whole Super Bowl halftime show thing with J-Lo and Shakira. Because you said you were talking about it in your group chats. So what was your thoughts on that?
As a matter of fact, I haven't really been on social media that much, to be honest with you. I've been like in my own world per usual. But I actually watched the halftime show the day after because everybody kept talking about it. I kept hearing at work. They were like, "Oh my god, it is so good!" Blah, blah, blah. So I went to go find it or whatever, and then I hit up my group chat and I was like, "Oh my god, I watched the halftime show. They did such a good job. I can't believe they're 40, 50 years old. They're like killing it. Wow, it's amazing." Because honestly, all I heard was positive things in person. I didn't hear about the drama until I watched until I talked to my friend, and then after I watched your video. And then, my friend was like, "Yeah, they killed it, but apparently people are still mad." I'm like, "What do you mean they're still mad?" And then she was like, "Well, they're mad because they didn't have any dark skinned people or any blacks performing." And I was like, I don't get it because I don't watch football and that, but I know enough to know that they're protesting it. They've been protesting the NFL for a while, you know what I mean? And I think Cardi B was invited to perform, but she turned it down. Is that what it is?
She did. She turned it down.
Even though she was there and they were all there. I feel like if you're watching, you're kind of supporting. I don't understand protests clearly because I feel like if you're against something, you just don't tune in. You don't give them any kind of money. But that's just me. But yeah, she was saying how they were upset that people were complaining that they didn't have any dark-skinned people on stage. They didn't have any blacks on stage performing, and that Super Bowl was being anti-black and so and so. And it's just like we were just like, but I'm confused. Like I thought they were protesting. Why would they want dark-skinned people? Right. I'm pretty sure somebody would have taken the stage. Let's say, I don't know, like SZA, right? Let's just say SZA took the stage. The first person I thought of, to be honest. I don't know why. They would probably give a shit for that, right?
They definitely would have.
Why are you performing? You know that we're boycotting the NFL. Why?
I feel like there would have been no win-win situation if a black person performed right now with what's going on. Like they did have black dancers on stage though, so people are acting like there was no color people on stage, but there was. Now as far as actual artists, okay, but yeah, at the same time, I feel like if there had been actual black performers or like black Latino performers, somebody or not somebody, but quite a few people, I'm pretty sure would have said something. Just because a lot of people have.
Because what I understand, like what my friend mentioned was that like people were upset they didn't have any black artists on there at all. Like, so I just don't get it. Like you said, they had. I mean, I saw Shakira's dancers. I can't remember. I remember Shakira's performance vividly. Something about Shakira's performance just blew me away. And someone mentioned how like J-Lo's choreography was more crisp and clean, but there's something about Shakira. I think it was just how much fun she was having. She was like having a blast in her performance, but something about that, I felt like it was very cultural. And she was doing all kinds of dances and whatnot. But it was pretty. That stage was pretty diverse. They made it very clear to include a little bit of everything. So I just think that sometimes I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just think that people just like to complain. Sometimes it's valid.
That too.
Sometimes it's very valid. Sometimes it's very much needed. Sometimes things need to be acknowledged. But sometimes you just gotta just sit back and enjoy the show. I don't.
Indeed.
But and then apparently like the whole thing with like the people had problems with their outfits too.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought that they were like dressed head to toe, right? Didn't Britney Spears wear something like J-Lo had on or something? I think they made about that too, but that was like a while ago. That was back in 2002, I think. So of course people were like, "Oh my god, a nude suit!" But
yeah, I don't think the outfits were that bad.
Not at all.
Like they were like showing all their boobs or whatever, or like you know.
What it is. It's just that Latinos just have a beautiful shape. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like they're working it and they have beautiful bodies. So obviously it's like, oh my god, she's naked. But if it was like a secret model up there, 6'10", you know what I mean? Very slim. It would look as art. That's something that curvy women are gonna like. They have to deal with on a regular basis. And I think that's annoying. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's really much always said. We used to like really go into like contradictions that used to like annoy us in our group chat, but now it's just like so negative that I'll drive myself crazy if I look too much into it.
Yeah.
So we'll say one thing and then we just and then we'll just drop it, you know.
Right. Gotcha.
Because it's always gonna be something.
Girl, always. But anyway. All right, girl. Well, that was it for our little interview. So you made it. Woo!
I feel like I ran so much, and I'm gonna look at this and be like, "What the hell was I talking about?"
is good. This is letting people see how you think, your personality, you know, the inner mind workings of Lenny Bunny, you know.
Thanks to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
Definitely
watching.
go check out Lady Bunny's channel. Subscribe to her channel. And this won't be the last time. We will definitely be collabing again, possibly very soon. So watch out for that. All right, see you guys.